Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7th e-Kapihan of the Philippine Franchise Association, pivoting towards recovery. This is Dr. Carl Balita, and I'm glad to be your facilitator today. I'll miss someone today. I will certainly miss my partner in this endeavor, which we started way back in March. As early as March 2020, we already had this. And we will be talking about pivoting towards recovery. But in case you miss it, ladies and gentlemen, some reminder, today is June 11, 2020. This is the 163rd day of 2020. Today is one day before our 122nd Independence Day. And this is our 86th day in quarantine and 197 days before Christmas. So allow me to be the first person to greet you. Merry Christmas, 197 days away from today. And in case you missed it also, yesterday we had this report from the Department of Health, 740 reported cases yesterday. And we hope really that we can pivot towards recovery. And today we are so excited because this is already the 7th e-Kapihan of the Philippine Franchise Association. And so that we will be blessed in today's activity, allow me to welcome the Deputy Executive Director of the Philippine Franchise Association to lead us in the prayer, Mr. Jake Santos. Jake Santos will lead us in the prayer. Or might as well do it.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us this afternoon in this online forum to help us recover from the COVID-19 crisis. Be our guide as we restart our respective businesses in the new normal. May all that we do begin with your inspiration and reach your completion with your saving help. Help us meet the challenges and seize the opportunities of this new world so that we can continue to be powerful instruments for economic inclusion and nation building. In a special way, we lift up to you our leaders so that they are always guided in all that they do, and so that they will continue to work in making the Philippines a nation of opportunities. All this we pray, confident in your love and mercy. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Jake Santos. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to journey you through the past experiences we have had here at the e-Kapihan. It all started in March 25 when we had our first, and this was, of course, I moderated this together with four, amazing stories of, at that time, navigating through the COVID-19 disruptions. And the second of which was the first day of April when we had the Secretary of DTI along with 5 other resource persons and panelists who journeyed us through the navigation of the COVID-19 crisis, the MSME experience. This was followed 2 weeks after becoming the resilient enterprise now, next, and beyond. And another one towards the end of April, we had the 4th e-Kapihan, what's next for brands, business, and franchising. The 5th was amazingly held May 14, Road to Recovery, What's Next for Food, Retail, and Service, when we had the father of Philippine franchising, Mr. Sammy Lim, giving us the wonderful vision of 2020 being the golden age of franchising. And the last we had was May 28, when we had the 6th Kapihan, and this was on shaping up, maximizing revenue, minimizing cost. And to welcome us today in this beautiful day, we would like to call in the mother of Philippine franchising to welcome us all and to inspire us. Whenever she speaks, she will always inspire us and make us see what's beautiful that lies ahead. Please welcome Miss Alegria Bing Sibal Limhoco.
Thank you, Dr. Carl, for that kind introduction. I hope you're all well and looking forward to the 197 days before Christmas, right? On behalf of the Philippine Franchise Association Board of Trustees and Officers, I would like to welcome all of you to this 7th e-Kapihan. I hope that this online forum will be fruitful for all of us. I would like to particularly welcome our partner, Attorney Alex Cabrera, my inaanak, Toby Claudio of Toby's, John Patrick Kua of AC Nielsen, Mr. Pong from Potato Corner, Thailand, and of course, Chito Franco of PLDT. As Dr. Carl has enumerated all our different e-Kapihan, they have all brought us to where we are now. Definitely, the COVID-19 has brought many disruptions to our businesses. So I would just like to go over again what the government has been giving us in ways of loans for the small businesses. And as a total, they have already put aside 9.1 billion, 9.1% of GDP, which is equivalent to 1,746.6 billion pesos to our economy to help. Now, for those in the SME, we have through DTI and the Small Business Corporation, they would give loans up to 500,000 to update your loan amortization, inventory replacement for perishable stocks damage, working capital, and replacement to restart a business. So this is with SB Corporation. Now, for the Department of Agriculture for food and the likes, the Sure Aid program, which aims to provide micro and small enterprises, even farmers, they have a loan with a maximum amount of 10 million pesos with 0 interest and payable in 5 years. The Department of Finance will also award credit guarantee on small businesses to give them an easier access on bank financing to help improve the cash position of small businesses and enable them to pay fixed costs such as wages, rentals, amortizations, and interest payments. The Department of Finance, together with the BIR, has proposed a net operating loss carryover or NOLCO from 3 years to 5 years. We are appealing that the CREATE bill will be passed because this is all going to help us, our corporate income tax from 30% to 25% starting this July. So we really appeal to the Senate to please have another meeting. Otherwise, it will be in August. And by 2023, it will be down to 20%. It is really very generous of our government. That's why we cannot help. We cannot help but wish and hope and pray that this will be passed on already. Now, to help our members and PFA, we have Mr. Jake Santos, who did the invocation to assist you. So if you are interested in any of this, he will be more than happy to help you. Meanwhile, PFA is committed to undertake programs that will help the Philippine franchising sector and all entrepreneurs rise up from COVID-19. As Linda Rottenberg from the US business entrepreneur and also an author said, when economy is down, entrepreneurs go up. And really believe that this is an opportunity for us entrepreneurs. As Mr. Sammy Lim, the father of Philippine franchising, said, year 2021 to 2025 will be the golden age of franchising, because as we all know, there are many overseas Filipinos coming home and they cannot find a job. So they will look for a franchise opportunity. There are also many who are retrenched or retired. Sometime in 1997, after the financial crisis, Asian financial crisis, there was a group of 5 who grouped together to get a Jollibee franchise. Now they have more than 10 Jollibee franchise. And of course, pag golf na lang sila, and golf din sila. So anyway, just explaining to you the various opportunities that lay ahead of us. And that's why we have this e-kapihan, so that it will even enlighten us. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm confident that with our esteemed resource persons and guest speakers, it will be worthwhile afternoon for all of us. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Bean. It's always inspiring to hear you speak, and thank you for enumerating those opportunities and support we're getting from the government so that we can really pivot towards recovery. And special mention for Mr. Jake Santos for leading the invocation earlier. If you want to message him, he's part of this conversation. You may message him in case you're interested to get some help, as per announced by Ms. Bean. I would like to request that the participants please use the Q&A for your official questions, and please indicate your name, because we will not entertain questions from anonymous persons. And in case you just want to socialize with us, you may use the chat room. However, we discourage you from using the chat so much because it can be distracting to other participants. Okay, we will attempt to have all your questions answered by our panelists. And so, by the way, some of them are already providing answers to your questions as they are waiting for their turn. So that we will be speaking of from the same page today. I'd like to journey you through the experience of the PFA in the e-kapihan. It all started sometime in March when we wanted to see the navigation of the MSME through COVID-19 disruption, as I'm sharing it in my slide. And then the interest of the PFA is to look into logistics and people management, inventory and process management, franchisor support, because many of the members were franchisors who wanted to find out how they can support their franchisees. But of course, being purpose-driven as an organization to the purpose above cash flow. And this followed 3 timelines, as you may see, the now, the then, and the beyond. And it went on, and it went on and on until we realized that the resilient enterprise will have to ride through the waves of the new normal and towards recovery. And we went on, and last e-kapihan, the 6th, we focus on minimizing revenue and maximizing cost. This is to show you that everything we do with the Philippine Franchise Association's e-kapihan is very related. Today we will be talking about recovery, and we'll be discussing a very important word, which is pivot. And allow me, so that operationally we will be in the same page of understanding what pivot is. Pivot is usually occurring when a company makes a fundamental change to their business after determining, usually through a market research or experience, that their products isn't meeting the needs of their intended market. Companies will continue to pivot as these needs change or the company discovers new opportunities for business. In other words, simply put, pivot is a change in strategy without a change in vision. And what pivots, how to pivot, who pivots, and why pivot, it will be explored today as we present to you our resource person. We have one as a senior partner of PwC, Attorney Alex Cabrera. We will be joined in by our panelists. We have from Nielsen, Mr. John Patrick Hua, the Managing Director of Nielsen Philippines. And of course, Toby Claudio, the President of Toby Sports. We have live from Thailand, from Bangkok, Mr. Pong of the Potato Corner. And we will have from PLDT a product presentation by Mr. Chito Franco. And we'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. Thank you very much for for your sponsorship. And today, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you our speaker without further delay. Our first speaker is both a certified public accountant and a lawyer. He's a chairman and senior partner of PwC Philippines since 2013. He is also a board member of PwC's Southeast Asia Regional Consulting Practice and is the managing partner of Cabrera and Company. He specializes in tax planning, business restructuring and reorganization, and integrated law, legal, and accounting services. He attended business courses at Harvard Business School, Wharton University, and IESE Business School. He's chairman of the Integrity Initiatives Incorporated and the Management Association of the Philippines Tax Committee and a Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountant, PICPA Taxation and Legislation Committee. A multi-awarded resource person, has been named CEO of the Year at the Asia Leaders Awards 2019. He received the Outstanding CPA in Public Practice Award in 2015 and as Young Achiever in Public Practice Award in 1998 from PICPA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished speaker, Attorney Alex Cabrera.
Thank you very much, Carl, and good afternoon to Ma'am Bing, all officers of PFA attending this ikapihan, all our friends in PFA. I hope you're all comfortable, ready to listen, but more importantly, I hope that you're all thankful that you yourself are healthy and as well as your family, and that you and your family has a whole life to look forward to. And I myself, I'm also thankful for that. I've learned a lot of things in this pandemic, and not the least of which is the refreshment of my concept of this triple P in business, which is profit, people, and planet. And you must consider the three Ps in order to be successful. But what I have learned, and of course it's a shoe-in that you shouldn't be worrying about profit alone. You should worry about your people, your most important asset. But what I realized during the pandemic is that the first thing that you need to consider, even before people, is planet. And I think the genius of God taught us that we can do business without too much stress on the planet. And going back to that UN study, that by the year 2050, there will be 10 billion people in planet Earth. And if we don't mend our ways, we would need the resources of 3 planets in order to survive and be sustainable. And that is why maybe this pandemic that brought us that brought business to its knees and kept us in our homes. The lessons from this pandemic should really be kept and continued, and consider the planet even before we consider the convenience of individuals. That being said, I'm going to discuss practical points around these 3 Ps. I'd start with, of course, the most favorite part, which is profit. Much needed, and cannot underestimate the importance of being profitable nowadays. So I cannot miss, to begin with, the major expense of everyone, which is lease. And while maybe the rest who have stores inside malls, enjoyed some concessions from their lessors, the rest of those who are in the offices are still struggling to get concessions. And in no small part, it's actually also part of the communications of the DTI. They're saying that you should hold a moratorium on lease, and then after that you should collect your lease on installment, which is actually running against the grain of shared burden under Bayanihan 2020. And if you must know legally that if there's a fortuitous event and the pandemic is a fortuitous event, the parties to the contract are somehow relieved from complying with their obligations in that contract because of this occurrence, which is beyond the expectations of the parties when they were contracting with each other. And I know that a lot of these lease contracts would have um, clauses there on fortuitous event. But this is one thing that I will share, which is very important. The excuse or the way to go around or defeat the fortuitous event clauses in the contract is to raise Bayanihan 2020, an act of man. Because of Bayanihan 2020, there is a legal impossibility to use the leased premises in the same way that the parties contracted it. In fact, even if the lessors, even if you require the lessors to provide the lease, they could not. They could only provide it to 20% of your employees, to 50% of your employees, depending on what is allowed under the rules. But I shouldn't take too long because I only have limited time. I wanted to highlight the power of the PFA. If you can leverage on the power of the PFA to gain economies of scale, like when we order equipment for our digital transformation, or restaurants, you know, when they're in trouble with this high cost of delivery services, and even employees transport. If we can leverage the PFA and achieve economies of scale, we can lower our costs. You know, one of the things that that we learned, the most effective salesmen during this pandemic, the people who were unemployed, and they would be able to sell all the products and whatever products they can get their hands on. And I think that this should not be missed by all enterprises. All your people should be converted into salesmen, paid commission for incentive, using their own social media network, you know, like Facebook, for instance. And you may be surprised about the results of, you know, a booster in your sales. It not only provides for additional sales, it provides additional compensation to your people. Next. This is very important, I would think, and I hope that you take this not negatively. If you look at South Korea, for instance, and Taiwan, when they were, you know, still trying to move up, and of course they're now one of the two of the top economies in the world, and their story is not uncommon. When they were beginning to grow, what they concentrated on is import substitution through manufacturing, and they patronize their local produce. It is very important nowadays, you know, to patronize your local produce. And I'm not saying don't patronize anything else, but don't forget the locally manufactured products. And of course, you can get concessions from these local manufacturers by patronizing them. It not only strengthens the supply chain, it creates vibrancy in the domestic market. And the vibrancy in the domestic market is actually one of the top weapons of the Philippine economy, why we always keep our head above water in times of crisis. The creation of new customer experience, you know, cannot be underestimated. In fact, even when you are not earning from your customers, you can do something for them. Airbnb, for instance, partnered with Amazon web streaming, and they offer these services to owners of these lodgings, and taught them yoga, cooking, and all those stuff. And I think later on they began charging for that too. But this on the right side, as you see, La Cabrera, and the only reason why I got this there is because they gave their customers or their loyal patrons free food and their favorite food, and just delivered to them. You know, maybe reminding also their customers that they're present. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a stockholder in La Cabrera, and I did not receive any of the free food, although I dined there early January. Pivoting for the home office work environment, and I think all manufacturers of clothes should consider home-friendly office wear, like these blazers without these linings or jackets without this extra lining, and cool materials as well, because you should be webinar worthy about your looks whenever you're working from home. New customer experience in terms of digital transformation. I can't miss mentioning this community mart of Leni Robredo. you go there and you can choose Kamuning or Pasig, and depending on whoever is there, and you can even specify how you want your meat cut. But this community also mobilized the tricycle drivers as delivery. The augmented reality of this one in the middle is on lipstick. And you can actually try the lipstick without getting your hands on the lipstick. And if Sherry was here, I'll ask her to demonstrate. But it's really fun to try that. And this virtual clothing, virtual clothing, choosing your clothes virtually. I think PwC Germany actually has a hand in this app, and then you can tap there the clothes, and then you can try it on using your picture. Extra. Now, flexible work structures, and I've received a number of consultations, if it is valid or it's legitimate, to make your flexible work arrangements permanent. And there are a number of work methods. For instance, in PwC, we use the 40-hour work week. In the 40-hour work week, they can log in 40 hours whenever they want. And if they exceed 40 hours, that's the only time that we talk about overtime. So there may be days that they're working 4 hours, and there may be days that they're working 12 hours, but they're not earning overtime unless they breach the 40-hour work week. And of course, the 40-hour work week, you need to be productive. And also, people are looking at converting their compensation to deliverables. And that is because you don't see your employees working, and you want to keep them productive. So you convert your compensation to a deliverable method. And I think this is also very good for individuals, because they are able to balance their life. If they're done, they can go out and enjoy, because they're paid based on produce or what they produce. Environmentally friendly business, which is towards a circular economy. And like, for instance, today there's so much office space because we don't have people. I think everybody should try and invest in indoor farming. Indoor farming is not indoor planting; it's farming for produce. And there are a few companies who are quite active to help you nowadays. There's Urban Greens, there's Next Level Farms, and this can actually help you recover some of your lease cost, as well as help in self-sustainability. This pivot through eco style is actually this idea from Tata. Tata Costales, the brand name Ate, if you know that brand, they're the brands that use those in the penitentiary as manufacturers of masks using old clothes, and they're also producing clothes that match the masks. And I think every retailer should have this to be relevant. It's always going to be our everyday garments, so why not come up with those matching coveralls and masks, or matching office wear with masks. Pivoting for the eco economy, I think it's also important for everyone to supply instructions how to recycle the products after use. For instance, if your packaging can be converted in a stool, then you can put instructions there on how to convert the packaging into a stool. I think people should stop thinking about that their packaging should be thrown away, and should start thinking about how their products after use and how the packaging after use can be converted into something else, and then put these instructions as well into the products that they sell. Now, this is an important investment in this new normal. And I really believe this, that everybody should invest in good governance and in ethical business practices, regardless of whether you're big or whether you're small. When you invest in good governance and ethical practices, and you're able to prepare your books of accounts, your financial reports properly, then you prepare yourself for partnerships and new investors. You can even be IPO ready, and then you can build your strong brand even for the stormy days. So it's a worthy investment to make, and I encourage everyone to invest in good governance. Nelson Mandela said, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." But I remember distinctly these words from a retired partner of mine, of ours, who unfortunately passed away because of the pandemic. And he said to us that if you, I can say his name. His name is Joey Lavares, and of course we love him. He said that if you think small, then most likely you will remain small. But if you think big, who knows? One day you will be big. But I would add to that and say that if you dream big, sometimes you get surprised that your success is even bigger than what you dreamed about. So we can pivot towards recovery and have the toughness of a veteran. But it's also important to bring that child in ourselves, into our hearts. And once again, dream big and aspire for a new level of success in this new normal. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Dream big. Beautiful, beautiful indeed. You know, the winner is a dreamer who never gives up. My company has a tagline where the dream and the dreamer become one, because indeed, as Attorney Cabrera mentioned, we have to believe in that special moment when the dream and the dreamer become one. Thank you very much for the peace, Attorney, for the peace, the pivot, the profit, the people, the planet, and thank you for reminding us about the purpose. Yeah, before we proceed, I'd like to make some announcements, some beautiful announcements for you. We'd like to inform you that in case you have friends outside Zoom who may want to watch us, yes. I forgot to mention this earlier, forgive me, but we are live on the Facebook account of the Philippine Franchise Association. And in case you missed some parts of this discussion, you may go back to the PFA Facebook account and you may be able to watch it again. In fact, if you are interested to get the slides of our speakers, you may want to just sprint through the screen. If you're using Apple, you just have to Shift, Command, and 3, and that will automatically take the entire screen of your gadget, of your Apple gadget. Sa cell phone, you can also do it that way. And I hope you're enjoying your tea, just like me. I'm enjoying it from here. And please be comfortable in sending us your questions through the Q&A button. I already saw some questions. Kung may tanong po kayo, doon nyo po ilagay sa Q&A. If you're interested about the certificates, for request of e-certificates, kindly email pfawebinars@pfa.org.ph. You have to indicate your full name and share your takeaways or proof of attendance. That's what you have to do. So I repeat that, pfawebinars@pfa.org.ph. Request for presentations, you may just take the screenshots using your device to capture the slides, all right? And yes, I'm excited for the Q&A. You know, the best part of the eCapihan has always been the Q&A. Today, we are also privileged to have a very important person. He's the Managing Director of Nielsen Philippines. Our first panelist is the Managing Director of Nielsen Philippines, and he joined Nielsen in 2013 after 16 years with Procter & Gamble, 7 years of which were spent assigned in the United States and Singapore. With Nielsen Philippines celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2020, his vision is to make Nielsen Philippines the most innovative information service provider through the continued adoption of new digital capabilities. He is passionate about shaping a smarter Philippine market, focused on growing Philippine companies, and retailers by providing a strong understanding of consumer, shopper, and market insights. So expect this from him. Our panelist graduated from De La Salle University with a degree in BS Computer Science with honorable mention. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now hear it from the first panelist, Mr. John Patrick Cua.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Carl. I'll be sharing my screen. So, maayong hapon. I saw a few people from Mindanao. I was born in Mindanao. but now based in Manila. Okay. So this afternoon, we in Nielsen, we're the leading market research company here in the Philippines, and we actually talked to the consumers before, during ECQ, before ECQ, and after ECQ. But the focus of my presentation this afternoon, as requested by the officers of PFA, is to talk a little bit about the food retailers, no, and what we learned about it. But before I go and talk about the food retailers, I need to first talk about the consumers, no. Yeah, so the consumers. So in terms of during this time, we do a lot of studies globally and also recently in the Philippines. Their shopping habits are going to be different. And so what we've seen with the data is really what are the consumers prioritizing. So number one, it's really their health awareness. So they're very conscious about the quality and safety of the products. Have they tried it? There's also a desire to stay home, no? So ang tawag namin dito, home body economy. So more people want to stay home. Well, we're forced to stay home during the quarantine, but even after the quarantine, what we learned from other markets like China is that people have not immediately gone back to what they used to do. And because of some of the situations, some of our customers would be affected economically and financially, and some of them may have tighter budgets. No? And what you will see is those who have the internet connection, they are going to start to play around with online. Some of them are using Facebook. Some of them are using Viber, no, to buy their goods because they cannot go out. But those who cannot use online will see that they source within their vicinity. With the lack of public transportation, you will see a rise of neighborhood stores, or what we would call proximity retailing. So the outcome here will be a new basket. No, people will, if they can, they will shop less often, and they will prioritize things for their safety. So rubbing alcohol, household cleaners, air fresheners, that's what's in their basket at the start of the ECQ. No? And then we start to see a lot of people cooking at home, right? They're staying at home, so they're cooking at home. They're buying a lot of pantry items that are shelf stable, mga instant noodles, mga canned goods, no? And in the meantime, with the liquor ban, a number of people are also foregoing the out-of-home beverages. They're buying the bigger packs, no? And some of the non-essential personal care are also being deprioritized. So, but don't worry, we are coming out of lockdown, and what we're seeing in the other markets is slowly the indulgent products will recover, and the other personal care will eventually recover because the consumer will look to reward themselves. No? So moving forward, so we interviewed the supermarkets and the groceries that work with Nielsen, no? And quite a number of them in April gave what are their challenges during this time. The number one thing is really the supply chain. No? So paano nila makuha yung produkto? How do they get the shelves on how do they get the stocks on their shelves? I've been outside and I saw a number of out of stock, right? But the challenge there is the manpower. Not everyone can go to the store. The employees cannot go to the store. The employees of the manufacturers also had difficulty going to the factory and delivering the goods. No? So there was a big supply chain constraint during the time of the lockdown, and it's only easing now. So what they really needed was increased communication and making sure their cash flows. So similar to the previous e-kapihan, right? Making sure your inventory's okay, your supply chain's okay. the supermarkets, even if they've been open, even if they're priority categories of industry to operate, they were also having these challenges. And then lastly, so what does that mean? So in order to move forward, what would they see as an opportunity? Right? Digital or online channels is one. Of course, improving supply chain inventory. And that's still resonating. But they also need to understand how shopping habits will change. Right? So what we're seeing now, before, we always think it's the head of the household, the mother that goes to shop. But during the time, kung sino ang may quarantine pass, it could be the father, no? Or the male shopper. We usually have a female shopper. So, and they usually go weekly. But maybe now they'll go during payday, right? For the big supermarket shopping. Yeah. And they will continue to have the collaboration and communicate that their store is safe for people to go. No? So I will end this short opening presentation by saying, these are things that a lot of the retailers are experiencing. I'm sure some of you, whether you're an SME or even a bigger retail outlet, you would be experiencing some of these. But the one thing is clear, right? My advice is you have to do something. You have to act. No? And let's listen to our next few speakers to see how they recover. So, Dr. Carl, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you for reminding us that there's something new when it comes to consumer, even the basket and the retail, and the challenges to the retailer on shifting to online channel, the supply chain management and inventory management. And I know there are a lot of retailers right here. Please keep your questions in the Q&A. We would like to already curate and categorize and cluster them so that we can start asking it to our resource persons. By the way, habang naghihintay po kasi yung ating mga resource persons for their time and for the Q&A, they will already be able to answer your questions, especially the questions are directed to them. So we'd like to invite you to send in your questions because we'd love to ask them to our panelists. Okay, let's proceed to the man whose childhood name became a brand that is now associated to sports. We will talk about Toby Sports and the president being Toby Claudio. Our second panelist is the president of the biggest sports chain in the Philippines, Toby's Sports, which was named after him by the father. I heard that story. I actually asked that story from the father when we were together in Korea. He graduated with the degree in business economics from the University of the Philippines. After working in the corporate world, specializing in marketing and brand management, he joined the family business in 2001. Since he came on board, our panelist has contributed to the rapid growth of the business, which now has interest in retail distribution and even real estate. His first accomplishment was the creation of Toby's Arena, the country's first interactive sports store. He's also the creator of the first world-class running specialty store in the Philippines called Runner. His most recent venture is Urban Athletics, a sports lifestyle store inspired by urban fashion. True to form, it is also followed in the footsteps of Toby's and Runner's, winning most outstanding Filipino retailer in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, the man whose name has become synonymous to Philippine sports. Let's hear it from Mr. Toby Claudio.
Morning, Carl. Thank you for that introduction. It's my honor and pleasure to be here today. I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and members of PFA, my Ninang Bing, and the rest of the PFA officers. I'm glad to share some of our experiences and especially learnings over the past 60, 70 days of these unprecedented times Really, so many things that, so many range of emotions that we've gone through, and in this, in this crisis that's really, really never happened before. No, just a little background. We operate 65 stores, and the most of those are Toby's, which is on its 42nd year now. Toby Sports with 54 branches, no? Um, and then Runner, the running specialty with 6 locations right now. And then lastly, Urban Athletics, no, which is our sneaker store, no, sneaker specialty format, no, with 4 stores. But just like everyone else during lockdown, no, everything grind to a halt. We were severely affected. All 65 stores were closed and couldn't operate. And in the first few weeks, we were trying to figure out, just like everyone else, what to do. But gradually, as each week went by, my team and I learned to make several adjustments, a lot of adjustments, and along the way there were so many learnings to be had, no, and I'll share 4 of the biggest learnings that we had as we adjusted to, as everyone calls the new normal. And this is specific to retail in our category. We really saw from the onset that given the unique situation, everybody stuck at home, nobody allowed to leave their homes. There were so many new needs that needed to be filled. They were just, people couldn't recreate, couldn't go out, couldn't go to their gyms, couldn't even run outside. In my condominium, we couldn't even step out to get some sun. No, so it was really life changing, and many people had to adjust their habits. And one of those was, how they kept fit and played sports. You would think it was really would have been a really big negative impact to us, because if people can't go outside and play sports, then the demand for sports gear was sure to come down, no? But we really kept a close eye, and what we noticed was that people had a need to, keep fit and to move, even if they were cooped up at home, no? So my team came up with a very, very creative campaign, which we called "Stay Strong Indoors." No? And that was all about how people can make their anything in their house pretty much a gym, with or without equipment. People can stay in shape, continue working out, keep themselves fit and healthy. Especially now that it became a need for people to stay healthy, to strengthen their immune systems, to be safe from the virus. And this campaign had a very, very simple message, that all of us can still do things to stay strong indoors. And I think what it did was to really help our brands stay relevant, and provide something that people needed. You know, uh, in both both literally and figuratively. Literally, of course, we had all the equipment. We have the equipment that can help you put up your own gym at home, all the home fitness equipment. But more than that, it also helps people, provide the motivation and give them the relevance. Help us stay relevant. That we know they're here. We know that it's a worldwide, global, national crisis. But one of the best things that we can all do is to take care of ourselves and to stay strong. Second, we noticed that we used to do a lot of online marketing. We used to post a lot on Facebook and Instagram on our feeds, and a lot of our feed was, of course, promoting product. But I'm sure during the crisis, the last thing people want would be to get pushed with with hard sell offers and product offers. So again, my marketing team took it upon themselves to figure out how best we can help, how our brands can give relevant and helpful information, tips, motivational posts, even just ways to ideas to help people stay entertained. Like of course, the Last Dance Michael Jordan documentary was everybody was watching during the lockdown, so that was something that we were monitoring as well. No, if you notice, none of these posts featured any product at all, and the whole objective was to again, be relevant, be helpful, provide ways to help people stay fit, stay healthy. We would post a lot of workouts, and we had the help of our ambassadors for that. No, we we have a lot of athletes, PBA players like Scotty Thompson, Elay Tenorio, a lot of fitness influencers and coaches, instructors. And basically, we just they themselves created the material of what they were doing to stay fit and stay healthy at home, no, keep in shape, um, and how they were getting their workouts, how they were doing their workouts, and how they were using the equipment that they had, no, to do their fitness routines at home, no. And this got a lot of traction. It's also motivational. Gets people inspired to work out. Gives people ideas and even instruction on how to do the workouts. And then for runner, I really like this campaign, because I strongly believe that running as a sport has so many benefits for people, not just physically but mentally as well. No, personally, I can really attest that it helped me deal with issues of stress, anxiety, in a phase of my life, my career. No, so the advocacy of runner that with the hashtag mental health matters was so relevant during the time of the crisis, because of course everyone was scared. No, everyone was worried about getting sick, worried about their businesses, their families, and the campaign really got traction from the whole running community. This police officer, no, Colonel Reyes, is an avid runner, and she's very, very active. And JP Alipio is a real advocate of the outdoors, and also has they all had great testimonials about how running and fitness kept them from going crazy. Especially during the COVID crisis. So that's how we try to keep relevant. Third is obvious, should be obvious, no, but it wasn't easy, because as we started reopening our stores, we really had to do a lot of preparations, because obviously people were worried about going back to the mall, worried about social distancing, about contact, and both in our stores and in our e-commerce operation, we really put in protocols in place, such as contactless customer pickup, and a lot of the social distancing um, materials to make sure that when people come to the stores, they know we've taken adequate precautions, both with our staff and with the physical space, no, and that it would be a safe shopping experience for people to go to our stores. And lastly, we came to a realization that customers need to be served in new ways because of this new normal. We realized that people were on their phones the whole time. People were ordering out and getting food delivered all the time, making payments through their phone, booking couriers themselves. So we made several adjustments, and probably most relevant to the topic today about pivoting. No, this is the area where we did the most. We changed the most because we had already been very active and strong with our online presence, with our websites tobis.com and urbanathletics.com. No, but we upped that one notch by creating a new sales channel that allows people to shop really from their phones, talk to our people, our sales staff through Viber, and connect with any of our stores nationwide. Since we have a big chain of 65 stores, no, they can chat with their nearest store and arrange to get the item that they need, even pay for it beforehand, and then schedule pickup or delivery straight from the store. So it's really the fastest, most convenient way. Aside from our own websites, Tobis.com and UrbanAthletics.com, it's the fastest way for people to get the goods that they needed. No, so and that all came about because we were just noticing that I suddenly saw so many Viber groups popping up that people were buying stuff from electronics, fitness equipment, computer stuff, anything home related, no. Because as Patrick mentioned earlier, people are really cocooning in their homes and finding ways to equip their house so that they don't have to leave the house, and just providing both the online through online shopping through our .com site, and then finally through the Viber selling and chat, and then we to the contactless pickup, and then we really made sure that we offered digital payment methods such as GCash and PayMaya, so that people don't even have to hand over cash or credit card, and when they do shop via Viber or online, they can use digital payment methods. So that's really one of the biggest changes that we did during lockdown that innovated our business model. No? And even if we had 65 stores before, we weren't doing this because we were so reliant on the traffic coming to the malls. But now people go to the malls only when they need something, and they know exactly what they need. So they don't stay long, unfortunately, at least not yet. So the buying journey really starts well before they go to the mall. And people make decisions. That's why we need to reach out and communicate to them before they decide to go to the mall. And hopefully, when they do go to the mall, they pass by our store and make a purchase. So, and so far, it's been okay. We're not 100% open yet. We're only about 90% of our stores are open. But our online business has been healthy, and a lot of people are reaching out to us through this new means. So that's it. I'll just end with a quote. I attended just the other day a webinar of Mark Cuban, the billionaire entrepreneur and owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And this quote of his really resounded with me, because he's also very, very competitive, like I am. He said that when there's change, there's opportunity. When things are upside down, that's when the real superstars stand up. So I'd like to, think that, it's a challenge to all of us. I know things are upside down, but now's the time when we can really stand up and rise to the challenge. Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Toby, whose name has become synonymous to sports in the Philippines. Yeah, not upside down, but thank you really for proving to us that the definition of pivot is a change in strategy without a change in vision, because Toby remains to be true to itself, but was able to see the new needs. The customer needs brands who are relevant, needs to feel safe. You saw that the change in strategy and need to be served in new ways. Thank you. And most of which are digital. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be hearing from someone live from Thailand. And mind you, yesterday we had the chance to have a dry run, and I talked to him. And for the past 14 days, there is no incident of COVID positive in Thailand coming up for the past 14 days, 2 weeks. And we would like to hear more about what pivot he has done for Potato Corner in Thailand, being the master franchisee of Potato Corner there. He's the CEO of Rocks Foods Company Limited. All right.
Hi.
He's a 27-year-old entrepreneur and a master franchisee of Potato Corner for Thailand. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Chulalongkorn University. During his university years, he traveled the world competing in business case competitions and debate tournaments, winning many awards and recognition in both national and international level. He started with the Potato Corner project in 2015 and then opened his first store in 2016. Now he has 50 branches across Bangkok and is planning for an even more exponential expansion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our warmest mabuhay welcome to the CEO of Rox Foods Company, all the way from Bangkok, Thailand, Mr. Chayapatra Pong Tong Cha Roen.
Okay,
Good
hi,
afternoon.
Sadika. Hi, everyone. Very honored to be here today among a very distinguished panelists. I feel very humbled and honored to be here today. So first of all, I just want to share with you that I think you already know that Thailand right now has a very minimal amount of cases, right? So we've had around 16 days already of zero domestic transmissions in Thailand, which we think is very nice. I mean, we're very proud of our accomplishments here in Thailand. But it also doesn't mean that we didn't have a lot of economic impacts and also impacts to our stores. So what I'm going to be talking here today is I want to share with you three phases of how we deal with the situation, right? So we've got the during lockdown, right? And then we've got the post-lockdown and how we look forward to doing things in the long run and how we plan to use this as an opportunity to elevate our brand to the next level in Thailand. So let's go to the during lockdown phase first. So I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of presentation like the other panelists, so I'm just, but it explains what we did here. So during the lockdown phases, our sales dropped naturally for quite significantly also, but not as much as we had expected initially. This is because we plan to, of course, use a lot of deliveries as a main part of our key sales factors from the very beginning anyway. So we've been pushing very hard on that. We noticed from February already that we were going to have a COVID crisis in Thailand because Thailand actually was the first country outside China that has a recorded COVID case. So we were quite preparing for that. We've been pushing a lot on deliveries. We have a partnership deal with Grab. We have great relationships with them. So when the lockdown came, we got more towards deliveries. So we're talking a lot of campaigns, a lot of promotions with Grab for deliveries. We've also already optimized our product for deliveries. You know, as people would think, you know, fries is maybe not the best product to be delivered, but over the past 1 year, we've done a lot of experiments on how we can sustain the amount of crispiness and the amount of, to decrease the amount of softness in fries during delivery. So we test that with the bags we use, the types of fries we use to ensure that we have good delivery quality, right? And when the crisis came, what I told the team is that we will not furlough anyone. We will not decrease anyone's salaries at all in the whole company, no matter it be in the management team, down all the way to operational level. We will not do anything to them because we know that we're all in this together. When we profit, they work for us very well, so we will not be doing anything bad to anyone. So we had no salary cuts whatsoever. So I took it as our responsibility to push sales no matter what. So how did we do to push sales, right? As I told you before that even though we optimize our fries quality to the best that we could possibly do, but we also realized that when it comes to deliveries, there are also more things that can be done. So we came up with a new product, which is popcorn, right? Because popcorn is something that lasts very, very, very long. You could order it for 2 hours and still going to be crispy, like you have it in the movie theater. So we rushed the project. So from idea inception, we took around less than 2 months, I think. And then we launched popcorn already in April during the lockdown, which also jumped the sales by quite a lot, which we're very proud of that also. But more importantly, this crisis has also taught us that, you know, our sales are not as stable as we wished it to be. So therefore, we're using this opportunity to also plan for a lot more delivery products, which will be launched throughout the year, because we never know when the second wave is going to come, right? We're very lucky that today the first wave is over, but we're also preparing for the second wave. Now, what I want to show you is that, so since during the lockdown, we managed to get past that, but right now it's a post-lockdown period. So what customers are looking for right now is the new normal, right? So what is new normal? New normal means We want to give them the amount of safety that they feel comfortable eating with us. But more importantly, we want to use this opportunity to elevate our brand to be even better than all the other big international brands, right? So this is how we differentiate ourselves, right? So I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen here? Sorry. Okay.
Here.
So this is how our store normally looks like, right? This is our store in Central Rama 9. It's a very good selling store. This is in the normal scenario. So we've implemented a series of measures in our stores to ensure that customers feel very safe when they eating with us, right? So the first thing here is that if you notice, it's a little transparent, but for the whole stores, we have what is called the cashier guard and the shield guard. So there will be no direct contact between our customers and the staff, no matter what. So basically there's going to be no contact whatsoever, right? For the whole stores, for around the stores. As you can see here, we actually measure our temperature, the temperature of our staff 4 times per day, and they have to write it down on this tag here and put it on the pin it on their apron, right? So it's 9 o'clock, what's your temperature, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock. So we check the temperature every 3 hours to ensure that, you know, we have the best possible safety standards. Of our staff, yeah. So if any of our staff have higher temperature than 37.3, they're obligated right away to take a 14-day quarantine and go for a medical examination. For all the change, we only give our change back in the plastic bags now. So there's no way that there's going to be direct contact between our staff and our customers. And if you notice here also, there's a little slip here. So for every order, we will tell our customers who was the person who prepared this dish for them, and what was the temperature at the time of preparation when they prepared it, and what time was it prepared. So in the unfortunate case that eventually, if there's going to be a second wave, and let's say if there's an outbreak, there can be an easier contact tracing for the authorities at our stores. So this is one of the measures we're trying to do. And lastly, this is how our staff looks like now, right? So we have a shield guard, we have a face guard, we have the face mask. They always have to wear a glove. They always have to wash their hands every 30 minutes, and then they have to clean all the areas where customers touch, like for example, the menu all the time. So this is what we've been doing for the past few months, right? But in the long run, I just want to emphasize that every crisis there's an opportunity. So we want to use this opportunity to elevate ourselves to have even higher safety standards than a lot of international brands. Because, you know, in times when people are really scared, differentiating yourself and making yourself feel really safe for your customers really goes a long way. People really feel good about your brand, and that this will increase your brand equity as a whole in the very long run. So also, I think I'm running out of time here, but I just want to share with you also that we're using this crisis also to double down on our bet on the Thai market, right? So we're using this opportunity to also recruit the fantastic people from the hospitality industry who may have to leave their jobs because of this crisis. So we want to support the economy in that way also. So we're recruiting a lot more great people that might have otherwise not been available to us. We're also getting new spaces. We're aggressively expanding still this year because we believe that in the long run, the crisis will heal. And if we make our brand good enough for the people, they will keep coming back. And we're very sure that we will be the Thailand's #1 brand very soon, sooner than expected. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Pong. Imagine making a Thai saying that soon a Filipino brand, Potato Corner, will be the #1 brand in Thailand. Of course, we already have so many questions for our panelists and for our speakers. I already have a set of questions right here. We are encouraging everyone to ask your questions. You can actually make consultation if you have some problems with your business. It's free consultation from our experts. So wag po kayong mahiya magtanong. We have a lot of questions for Pong, especially that Thailand now is probably has flattened the curve. Imagine 16 days of 0 case reported of COVID, no? And by the way, for our last speaker, you would notice that almost all speakers ahead of him talked about digitalization, digital pivoting. And we are so lucky to have with us, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President and Head of Corporate Relationships Management of PLDT Enterprises. And you know what he will talk about? He will talk about digital business framework for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Please welcome Mr. Chito M. Franco.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. Carl. And I'd like to share my screen for everybody. Okay. Again, on behalf of PLDT Enterprise, it's my pleasure to be joining the PFA for today's session. And I'd like to share our thoughts on the digital business framework for MSMEs. And as you know, we went through a lot in the past couple of months. We all know that the impact of COVID-19 is really unprecedented. More than 90% of all businesses were affected, and no one realized that it will affect our daily lives, and a huge impact on the MSMEs. And now, as we slowly reopen, some will be recovering faster than others, and those who will recover faster will have a digital playbook that they will try to adapt. And we saw this during ECQ, that those who were first to adapt in the digital journey were the small home-based micro entrepreneurs, and they were using whatever was available. They were able to shift to digital using Facebook, Viber, and other communication apps, and any available payment system to be able to reach their customers. This digital playbook is at its simplest form using social media and what is now what we call conversational commerce. Now, what do we see moving forward? Because the local MSME market has been largely traditional, many MSMEs were focused on the brick and mortar experience, and a lot of their customers were really visiting them face to face. However, in order now to shift, we need to redefine our way of doing business. And in the new normal digital playbook, it will now look like this. We look at it as a low-touch, low-contact physical store, which will have all the tools for social distancing, their own, of course, your POS system, and advanced ordering tools. And this will be augmented by your online presence, a business having an online presence capable of online ordering, online appointments, online payments, and of course, collaborating with delivery and fulfillment partners. This is what we see now as the new normal, where businesses are being able to be searched online. And you look at it, you know, a lot of the goods are now being searched online. And even before you go to the store or pick up the goods, you already know what you want, and you already order it online, and you can pay for it online as well. And of course, this new digital ecosystem, we need to have the basic tools. And the journey starts with having a very strong, reliable internet connection. And we at PLDT and Smart, with our award-winning networks, we are able to provide our MSMEs with reliable connectivity solutions which are fit to their budget. It starts with wireless plans between 300 to 500. And of course, our BIS LTE plans at $999, and of course, our fiber plans at $1,899 and $2,500 respectively. These are the plans which are best suited whether you're doing business in your home or in your shop or even on the go. And of course, once that internet broadband is established, then the business would want to invest in collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams or Cisco WebEx to ensure that suppliers, staff, and even customers can easily communicate. This is very important, especially when you are doing online business. You need to be in touch with your people and collaborate where you want to go, and if there are already stocks being delivered, and even talk to your suppliers. This is very important to collaborate. Next, of course, to ensure that goods and services are paid online, we advise that our customers enroll with a payment gateway provider. We are partnered with Paymaya, which provides several payment platforms, such as QR and also Paymaya Business. These are all available today, and it's very easy to enroll, and you can always just reach out to Paymaya through us or even directly and be able to do your online payment right there and there. Next would be setting up your ordering platform. We are in partnership with different platforms. Number one would be Microsoft. They have Microsoft Bookings, and this is being used on when you are, for example, a service provider. you would want to book an appointment in advance. So you can actually use Microsoft Bookings for your booking appointments. And then there's also Google Suite or G Suite for taking orders online. Both platforms are very easy to use and set up for your business. And even for small schools, we also recommend Microsoft Learning for their e-learning needs. Again, this is very easy to set up, and we can talk to our customers and be able to set it up for them. And lastly, it would be very good to market your product services online through the different marketplaces and of course through e-commerce. We have partnered with Union Bank Global Linker, and this is a marketplace for business to business. Any business would like to enroll, you can always log in and register with Union Bank Global Linker. And of course, we also partnered with Shopify to be able to set up your online store seamlessly and integrate it with different e-commerce sites and marketplaces. Now, these are just a few of the solutions that we have. But once you have all these solutions, you are now ready to run your digital playbook and start your road to recovery. And of course, there's a lot more that we can talk about, but to learn more about this digital journey and get your business back on track, you can visit our website at www.pldtenterprise.com or scan the QR code you see on the screen right now. It's very easy. Just scan it and you can already register and we can get back to you right away. Again, we'd like to thank our partners, PFA, for the time. And let's all step into a new day to recovery. Maraming salamat po and good day.
Beautiful. Step into a new day. PLDT. Yeah, mamaya tatanong natin kay Mr. Vice President Chito kung kumusta na kaya, lumakas na ba ang ating internet signal, because that's always the issue whenever we speak of connectivity and digitalization in the Philippines. All right, now we are open to the Q&A. Can we have all the panelists in the screen now? And let's see each other. Thank you very much. Ang gaganda. Sa totoo lang po, we now have almost 500 in Zoom and more than 100 in Facebook. And the thing about this PFA event is this is also recorded as live and will be placed in the PFA website, and the live broadcast that we're doing right now will stay in the PFA Facebook account. Okay, I'd like to throw my first question for Attorney Alex. Attorney Alex, you mentioned about the triple bottom line, the profit, the people, and the planet. All right. My question for you, this is my personal question. There is there is a mention about profit. Are you really thinking, are you optimistic that businesses can do profit in this pandemic, at the very least in 2020? And also related to that question is, how do you suggest we can take care of our people in this time of crisis? And this goes for everyone, no? The other panelists may also be asked the same question. How are you taking care of your people now? Attorney Cabrera, please.
Yeah, in regard of as regards your first question, Carl, about profit, I think what is more important really is resiliency and building resilient business models. So while profit, of course, is important and we should work for that, our business models should, as we are taught, now consider planet and people, our ecosystem, our stakeholders, because in the end, in times of crisis, everything that we do or did not do for our stakeholders, they come back and impact our business anyway. So I think it's easy to be profitable, like you reduce your people and you manage your cost, and that you can achieve profitability in the short term. I think you should achieve profitability in the medium term and acquire resiliency in the short term. That's my thought on that. Insofar as people is concerned, Carl, I think it's so easy to show that you care about people during good times. And I think that the real challenge or the crux of the matter is showing that you care about your people during hard times. And you can see our friend from Thailand already alluding to this. And for instance, in our firm, that is the same mentality. It is our risk to make our people stay productive. We did not reduce our staff because we know that they also need the earnings for their family. So we're trying to do a number of things to augment the business. And I think this is probably just one of the blessings of being a professional, because the circumstances can change, and then you can be agile and change your business, and you will still have business. One of our God-given gifts. But we have empathy towards our customers, and not everything that we do these days, have professional fees. But we're trying to really build the ecosystem, build uh, the the uh, the field in which we play, and helping people, not always about profit, but helping everybody become sustainable. And what we've learned in this pandemic really is everything is connected, and the communities that you don't help, they can also diminish you, because if they don't have purchasing power, they cannot buy your goods, and if they're sick, they can also make you sick. Everybody is connected, and I think that's one of the greatest lessons.
Thank you very much, attorney. And in fact, I made a presentation in Konkan University. Pong, I was a speaker in Konkan University in an international business event. And then I spoke about the shift of business from the red ocean to the blue ocean. Then I presented the blue sky. And to me, the blue sky will not only refer to the triple bottom line that you talked about, where the center is another P, which is purpose, but I included to make it quintuple bottom line, because financial stability is something I included. And you were right. Maybe survival and resiliency in the short term, but there has to be a long-term strategy towards financial stability. And you mentioned this, attorney. I love it when I heard it from you. We have to engage in ethical, moral, legal sensitivity as well. And that makes it 5. And your paper, actually, your presentation today conformed with my quintuple blue sky strategy. Later on, of course, a lot of our questions are directed to Pong, specifically, how did Thailand, as if Pong is part of government, like how did Thailand afford to be zero COVID for the past 2 weeks already. But I'll go to that in a little while. My question now goes to Toby, and related to the question thrown at Attorney Alex. How are you taking care of your people, Toby? But then I have my follow-up questions for that.
Yeah, our first priority is, of course, to keep them safe. So in the in the office, and throughout lockdown, we had a very skeletal operation. A lot of our people are allowed to work from home, are allowed to take home their desktop computers, and we're holding our meetings by Zoom to minimize presence in the office. But the ones I'm most worried about, of course, are the ones in the stores, because they have to commute, and they have to entertain a lot of customers throughout the day. So obviously that's the hardest part. It's very difficult, but we have full PPEs for them, and I think now, fortunately, our business is doing well enough that we don't have to let go of anyone, and keep our full manpower complement so far. Hopefully, we bounce back quickly. But it's also in the office. We've made sure to pay, and allow people to consume leaves, and give out half of our year-end bonuses to people to help tide them over during the lockdown.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. And Toby, I'd like to ask you this question. I'm just curious, because you have 3 brands. You have Toby's Urban Athletics,
Yes.
And Runner. But is that by design? Not. I mean, you did that by design. Did it not affect your branding for Toby's? Did it not divide the market? And how did one brand affect or strengthen another?
No, actually, they were very complementary to each other.
Right.
They serve very distinctly different customer segments with different purchase intents. Toby's is really for the all-around weekend warriors, really for fitness and sports. No, runners for people who want to take up a new lifestyle. No, our mission there is to convert non-runners to avid runners. And then finally, urban athletics are for those who wear the fashion of sport. No, really three different segments, three different brands, which allowed us to cater better to each different segment.
Yeah, to the niche market. Yeah, nice one. I was curious to hear that from you. And before the other questions, and before we throw the ball to everyone, of course, everybody wants to be healthy now and well. But like I can jog in my pajama, I can do push-ups in my usual, pambahay, uh, and I'm not going to the gym definitely. But I'm not concerned about how I look when I go into fitness. How did that reality of a new lifestyle affect your sales? And which of the fitness products you mentioned that you're doing good now sold most? Like I bet, I bet ang ganda ng pantaas natin today, but I bet most of us are wearing short pants today. And I can do my jogging in this attire that I'm using right now because nobody cares. I'm not dressing up for fitness for someone else except for fitness sake. So how did that affect your sales in apparel, in other stuff, and what are the products that sold most, at least in the last 2 weeks?
That's probably for me, Carl, no?
Yeah, just for you. Oh, definitely, that's
for you. Yeah, dumbbells and treadmills are the new tissue paper. And it's not just here, no. I think we're very, very fortunate to be in a category that suddenly became a necessity. Even on Amazon, I think one of their top 10 bestsellers are weightlifting equipment, gym equipment, and even people who live in condos who before, really don't have much space for equipment. We sell the whole range. So everything from small equipment, exercise bands, resistance bands, gym balls, yoga mats, all those things, became necessities all of a sudden, including the bigger gym equipment like treadmills and exercise bikes. No, and even over the break, a lot of people learned, that there's a way you can connect there's smart fitness equipment now, like treadmills and exercise bikes with Bluetooth that you can use to play virtual games online. Keeps you motivated, keeps you fit. So people discovered a lot of new ways to work out from home.
So it was good for you. And when you launched that campaign and wanting to stay relevant, are you confirming that the intention of that one was branding more than sales, especially at the time that we were in ECQ? So because in the past Ikapihan, we learned that even in my resort, for example, my instruction is you keep yourself relevant, you be active in social media. The intention is not to sell, but actually for branding purposes. Did it work for Toby's?
Yeah, that specific to that campaign. If you watch the user submitted videos, sometimes they were using their own equipment, mga water bottles, yung mga cement blocks, stuff that they just lying around at home, and that's fine. Your body is your best piece of gym equipment. So it's really there to motivate people and make sure that they make it a habit to stay fit, even if they're stuck at home, because it's so easy to be just on Netflix the whole day, diba? So yeah, it was really meant to get people moving.
It's branding. It was good branding strategy. And there's a question from Bob here. Bob asks, Score, what is the realistic expectation on mall-based sales, especially now that you're open 90%? You mentioned. How many percent do you expect it to drop? Will online business be able to offset it, in your experience, Toby?
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's trying to figure out now with the reopening of the malls. No, initial indications from different malls, different retailers vary widely. There are some who are doing well, some who aren't. No, because simply put, the traffic still isn't back. There's no dine-in yet in Metro Manila, so people aren't going to the mall to spend leisure time. They're really there to buy something. So I think that's really stresses the point I made earlier, which is you have to reach out to the customer and help them decide what they need and what they want to get when they go to the mall, because they're not just going to make a trip just for the sake of it. You know, don't want to take the risk. But if they do need something, also to provide them other means to get the stuff that they need. If it means just a curbside pickup or delivery from store, retailers can be resourceful to find ways to do that. Like the La Cabrera example you pointed out earlier. I order ramen for takeout also, any way to help the customer get it more conveniently.
You see it sufficient enough to offset the decline in mall sales, the digital sales? Do you see it? Do you expect that it will more or less be at par?
Yes, I think the lesson really is those who have a good online business, and our brand partners have been telling us this from their experience globally. Those retailers who have a very good online presence prior to COVID will do much better.
Okay.
Those who are behind will really have a hard time catching up, because it's online that will help you make up for the lack of traffic in the malls right now. Because the Philippines was really a malling culture. We were spoiled. Everybody was in the mall every day, every weekend, because there's that's our park. But with a drop in traffic, I think we really all have to figure out ways to augment the drop in sales that we've seen, and that I think we will continue to see for a while, with some exceptions.
All right. And for Patrick, I'd like to ask you this question. How does this came from another one from Bob, but the first one goes like this: How do you see the future in retail in the new normal? What are the emerging business concepts and opportunities? That's a question. And what is the business sentiment outlook for some reason? I don't find any sense why the stock market is bouncing back. What is your insight on the matter? That's for you, Patrick.
Okay. On the first question, what are the business models? We are looking at, as what Toby is saying, it's more omni-channel. No? So, or in other countries, it's O2O. So O2O is online to offline and offline to online, regardless of which direction. You need to have a presence, to be able to serve your customers and catch more people. So digital is the way to go, and you need to have an online presence to be able to. So people now will be, the internet penetration right now, based on our studies, is 70% in the urban areas. So for every 70%, there's maybe 65% are smartphone users. And so the presence on the likes of Facebook, on Google Maps, you need to be there because majority of our Filipinos are there. So the ability to serve and connect with your customers online through the chat would be important. The ability to deliver, right? So delivery, logistics, these are the ones that are thriving right now.
Yeah. Toby mentioned that Philippines is a malling culture. And after spending 3 months in the quarantine, do you expect that to have stayed, or have we changed? What is your reading on this, Patrick?
It will continue this way until maybe there's a vaccine, until public transport is normalized. So right now, even though Metro Manila is in GCQ, it's not 100% in public transport. It's not 100% back. No? So even our employees are having a hard time going to office. So and their cases are still growing. So at this point, eventually the online habit is here to stay.
The online habit is here to stay, but the malling culture is something we are, we're very hungry about, and sooner than later, maybe we will just miss it and we'll go back to the old normal. Is that what you're saying, Patrick?
It will eventually come back. It's the assurance on the safety of similar to what we've seen that Pong had shared as an example. So people will slowly come back once they feel more comfortable.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And of course, ipapahuli ko si Pong. I'll put Pong at the last part because I'm sure you're very interested to find out what Thailand, according to Pong, did so well, and what else did Pong do. I would like to ask that question. Was it his initiative to do all of those safety protocol? But I'll ask that later to keep the audience on their feet. And please, I repeat, please ask your question in the Q&A corner, not in the chat room. All right? Now, let's go to PLDT. My question, PLDT, is, and Smart, nag-improve na ba yung ating internet connection? Do we have improvement in the strength of our connectivity? Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Carl, for that question. So the answer is a resounding yes. We have been improving our networks and continue to improve it. And as what our chairman, MVP, has mentioned, we will continue to persist and strive during this pandemic and even beyond. No? We just had to cut down on our capex, but it will still roll out. Our capex will continue, and we will continue to invest in the network to make sure that the improvements are felt by our customers. So both mobile and on our fixed networks.
Yeah, someone is asking the question, Fernan Saludes. What business tools could PLDT recommend that will help online sellers to manage orders and inventories? Yes, you showed that earlier, but maybe we have to overemphasize these business tools that will be available via PLDT.
That's right. So basically, if it's a simple ordering platform or a simple order tool, we will recommend G Suite or Google Suite because there are only a few goods or services that you are going to sell. Then that is a recommended platform. Google Suites, which has its own ordering platform inside, no? And it's also very affordable. If you have a lot of SKUs or a lot of goods that you want to put online, then we would suggest that you buy via Shopify because it has a more robust platform, and you can add more and more SKUs or orders inside the platform.
Yeah, is that ready when the government finally would impose tax on online? You know, that's a lot of, a lot of noise made now in social media because at the time that we all want to survive and very creative and go in digital, now here is the proposal to tax online sales. Are those platforms ready for that?
Yes, actually, yes, Dr. Cal. Those platforms can actually come up with e-invoices, both platforms. But again, it depends on the seller what kind of invoices they will file. But those platforms are ready for e-invoices. All
right. There are some questions about if we are in favor of tax online sellers, etc. But I'd like to overemphasize as well that the opinions of our panelists and our speakers and even of myself does not reflect that of the Philippine Franchise Association. For now, I will not ask that question because that will be highly debatable and that's not the topic, okay? But it's also nice to discuss that, all right? Let me go to Pong now. Pong, can we put you online and please tell us, what do you think? You're very familiar with the Philippines, Pong.
Yes, very familiar.
Right, are you very familiar with the Philippines? Have you stayed in the Philippines for long?
Not long, but I go there pretty often. Before COVID, obviously, but not now.
And you have many Filipino friends.
Many Filipino friends. Yes.
Many.
I love the Philippines. I love the Philippines. I like fishing.
Thank you. Now, do you know of any Filipino dialect? I mean, words that you can speak of so far?
Not the nice ones. Not nice words.
Not the nice ones. All right. I'm sure you look at us. All right. Anyway, the question is, what do you think Thailand did so well that you have managed this pandemic in such a period of time that you have no case in the past 2 weeks? In your opinion, as a citizen?
I think, as I shared to you yesterday, that I think Thai people are very proactive and the government has done a good job. The health authorities have done a good job. And I think Thai people we've been very concerned and scared from the beginning. I mean, as the first country outside of China that has recorded case, we're naturally very concerned. And we took social distancing very seriously from the very beginning. And then actually what our government said is, they said health before economy. That's a priority, right? So health before economy. So no matter what, health is going to be prioritized. Meaning that, there were a lot of measures being implemented in terms of social distancing. I'll give an example. Like right now, the shabu shabu places and sukiyaki, like the hot pot places, are now open, right? But during the first week of its reopening, the government mandated that it has to be one person for one pot, which economically it doesn't really make any sense, but it fits with their tagline of health before economy, with their priorities. So I think it's really a combination of our very good healthcare sector and also strong government measures, and also I think our people are very, very, very compliant and have taken social distancing seriously from very early on. I think those are the combinations.
So you were serious from the beginning. Are you an obedient culture? I mean, are Thai obedient people? Like when the government says, stay at home, do you really stay at home? Wear mask, do you really wear mask? Are you not the Hawaii, if you know the word?
Well,
Do you follow easily?
I think it's both, but I think mostly people are just generally concerned for their welfare on their own anyways. So I think that's the main reason, really.
Very good. Now, those innovations you have done, the pivot in the safety measures that you have adopted and you have shown us through the pictures. Thank you for taking that suggestion. Whose protocols were that? I mean, where did it come from? Was it just your personal initiative or your company or corporate strategy to adopt them, or did you follow a certain protocol imposed by the government?
Okay, so I'll explain to you the mall protocols right now first. So when the malls were reopened, there were some serious guidelines, like really, really serious. Let's say, for example, when you go into a mall, right, you have to use your phone to do the QR code and then check in that you're in the mall, right? Let's say if you go in a mall and you want to go have hot pot, then you have to also scan at a hot pot restaurant that you're going to a hot pot restaurant. So the government and health authorities would have the exact numbers of the amount of people are in the malls at any given time, right? Also on the mall side, they also issued huge guidelines, right? Whether it be in terms of shield guard, cashier shield, wearing face mask or wearing face shield. So in terms of our protocol, it's a combination of both mall regulations and what we implemented on our own. So what I do is, I think when it comes to safety, when you say you love your customers, you can't really fake it until you make it. You can't fake it. You just got to feel it, right? So what to do is put yourself in a customer's shoes, right? Let's say if you go buy an ice cream at some place, what are the factors that makes you feel uncomfortable at this place? So last month I went to an ice cream shop, I bought an ice cream. I felt like when I was taking back the bank notes, I felt like, oh, I don't want to touch that bank note, right? Because I felt it was dirty somehow. So what we did was, of course, we implement immediately like the QR codes for online payments. It's being in process now. But more importantly also is that we put our cash in the plastic envelope so that, there's no direct contact. But also at the same time, we even experimented with using a UV scanner, like it's a stick that can kill some virus and bacteria, to scan every banknote. So we experimented with that, right? So there's one store that's currently doing that. And we also have required. That's not required, but we do it on our own. That's not required. Yeah. But because we feel that if I was a customer, what would I want to feel, right? Also, we have what is called mystery shopper that goes to every store. So like it's like a test customer. So we have them write a report on how safe they feel when they use Potato Corner services. Because at the end of the day, what I tell my people all the time is you have to look outside in, not inside out. Because you cannot give yourself more credits than your customers give you. So always think like a customer and what they would want. Yeah.
So I'd like to share to PFA later, Ma'am Cheet, I would share with you an article from Singapore, from the National University of Singapore, Professor Dr. Prem. He discussed to us the paranoid economy in retail. I'll share it in the Facebook of the Philippine Franchise Association, and that's exactly what Pong is talking about. It's giving the customer that sense of safety, an assuring experience that I'm okay even as I savor your Potato Corner, something like that. Someone's asking, did you deliver Potato Corner online?
Yes, we partnered with Grab, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just share with you also that we also explored other online sales channels such as Lazada. So it might be a little weird to be selling fries on Lazada, but let's say there was a 6-6 campaign a few days ago, right? So what we did was we sell vouchers on for one buy one get one on Lazada. So the point of this is also, of course, to constantly be in the trends, be in the mainstream media, right? Always get awareness. So we of course we sell on Grab. We're a huge partner with Grab. We love them so much. They're doing such a great job. In addition to that, we also sell on Lazada. Does that answer your question?
So you're selling. Now, before I throw this question to the other panelists, question is, does the new normal require a new business mindset? What should this be? And she has a special request to ask all panelists about this. My answer is yes, but do you answer yes or a no? A new normal requiring new business mindset? What do you think, Pong?
Definitely, it definitely requires a new mindset. So if you notice, like every 20 years, there's always a big shift in the industries, in the business world, and you just got to be on the right side of it when it shifts, you know. So I really feel that the name of the game now is innovation, right? Because nobody knows how the world next year is going to be. Nobody knows how 5 years is going to be. So you need to constantly be on top of your game and keep innovating. You cannot rely on your past success. You know, whatever you've done in the past 10, 20 years, it doesn't really count anymore post-COVID. It's a whole new world, which means that there are a lot of opportunities for new entrepreneurs, young aspiring entrepreneurs, plenty of opportunities. So the mindset needs to be, you need to be creative, you need to be innovative, and there's always a solution. So yes, definitely you need a new mindset.
Okay, please describe to us Thailand now. The bars, you know, the streets, the malls, please describe it to us. I miss Thailand. The massage, of course, the Thai massage is all operational now.
Yes, yes. Well, most places are open except for bars. For bars and clubs, those are and some very unique places, but then most places are open now. So we hope we can welcome you again soon.
The massage, the Thai massage.
Massage is open now, yes. So, so the government had a very detailed regulations at first, right? So it started off with, they only allowed like a massage on the neck and feet first. So no body massages or face massages yet. But to my understanding, I think from this Monday onwards, they will be allowing whole body massages.
Yeah, you know, I have to ask because even the slide, I think of one of our speakers presented that there's a long-term impact on tourism, and in fact, in my show in ABS-CBN last Saturday, the organization of president of the licensed massage therapy is now appealing to the government to provide them already some protocols because they are doing massage because customers are looking for it already. So they don't want to be accountable to what could be transmission by their limited knowledge on how to do it. And thank you for giving us hope that tourism, and because Thailand is tourism country, tourism and services like massage can really come back to life given some runs on the epidemiological data that could be shown to the public and to the customers. All right, let me go back to the other panelists. There's someone here we need to help. This is for Patrick, for Alex, for Toby. May problema siya. Sabi niya, I have a Lugawan stall inside the mall in Banawe area in Quezon City. The operation last 2019. And we got 3,000 sales a day, then closed because of the lockdown. We started it again, and now we are only getting 1,000 sales or less for 10 hours with 2 staff. And one of the concern is foot traffic. Ang tanong niya, should I continue or should I close down? What's your advice? What's your advice? This is Alukan. What is our advice here?
Is something that's very hard to count on now. I would really suggest to find way to make your brand more visible and help for customers to online and have it delivered. I think that's the way now, and make it convenient for them, affordable for them to get their lugaw fix from home. Delivery is, I think, really booming now. Actually, it's just a matter of standing out kasi ang daming options for food, no? So being creative, being unique with your brand campaigns is extremely important nowadays.
And Toby, there is a related question to what you just said. Somebody said earlier in the thread of my question that there are just so many products already, especially food. And it's very, it's you know, it's visual, it's real time. The question is, how do I differentiate? That's the question of someone asking for our help. What is your answer, your advice?
Food, it's a bit tough. I'm not in category, but generally, I think that's much. Yeah, really make something memorable, something that responds with you know, the situation people are in now. I mean, just people are looking for ways to help pass the time, and food is one of the best. No, it's just a matter of standing out and making your product something that people crave for.
Yeah, John Mercado, please send me a private message. I need you in jobs. I want to discuss more about your case of your Lugawan because there are just so many of your stories right now. The question is whether they'll fight on or they'll give up. I have a very good friend. I'm sure he's Sunny Torres of Splash Island, who posted this morning that I mean, asking for advice, crowdsourcing as to what advice will give him, considering that he's spending like $1 million in overhead expenses, and will he continue with Splash Island or not? And you know, a lot of insight from him, but you know, at the end, up. So, but you know, for people like John, maybe there's a lot we can do still. And yeah. All right.
Can I say something on the Lugaw?
Yes. I was about to ask that. Yes, Alex.
Yeah. Well, if he cannot change the business model, I think he needs to stop it. But I think that the thing really is that the foot traffic is not there. So he needs to approach the audience. He needs to approach the market. So there's this densely populated residential locations, and I think he needs to make his stall into a roving restaurant and put it in a trunk, and you know, announce his arrival on certain hours of the day, most likely in the afternoon or sometime in the morning for breakfast or for meals. And just operate that way, because the problem right now in the malls is that only the kitchen is very useful and the dining area is not really used, and then you still pay rent for that. And if you go for delivery, and of course I'm not gonna say the name, but the delivery is 25% of the cost price of the food price, and then you need to pay the variable rent of 5%. So there's 30% that you need to pay on every food that gets delivered, and if your margin is so small, then you really won't survive. So you need to change your business model. I would want to, you know, go to where my market is, make announcement either by physical or through social media that I'm coming at this time, and I think that people in their homes will be very interested in you know, hot lugaw, especially if there's variable toppings there. But if you can change your business model, I think you need to cut your losses for a while until the food traffic returns.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll adapt that. I'm in fact planning to have John, I mean, whoever that person is, I think I got his number already, to have him in my show so that I can, you know, assist him some more on what he can do. It's really about, yes.
I actually have a short suggestion that I came up with. Perhaps like if there's anyone from, maybe you can think about this suggestion. So actually, just a few days ago, one of our biggest banks, SCB, Siam Commercial Bank, they just launched a new service called Robinhood.
All right.
So it's like a commissions-free delivery. So they're doing it in a startup CSR project, and they're going to you know, fund the whole project. So basically, it's delivery and no charge to the bank. So the small vendors and the small shops will not have to pay, let's say, 25, 30, 35% as usual they're paying. So that might be an idea that's worth considering in the Philippines also.
Yeah, good. Yeah, in fact, just to share it with the rest of the participants, there is a local chamber in Oriental Mindoro in Calapan City that utilized the tricycle drivers that were then not allowed to take the roads and to do their usual business. He did the pasada, the pakibayad, pakibili, pakihatid, the paki concept of the Philippines, the please, for Pong's purpose. And it worked so well that while he did it during the ECQ in Calapan City, now it became a sustainable business. And now the tricycle drivers would have a new business to go into because we don't have Grab food in Calapan City. So it's really about bringing the product close to home rather than making them leave home, just in case. That's a beautiful discussion. All right, we have come to an end, and while there are still some questions, please let your questions come. Harriet will find a way to send you the answer of our panelists to your questions. But we have come to an end of this part, and we'd like to hear from the youngest of them all, of us all. Your final shot, please, Pong. And what's your message for all of us, especially from Thailand to the Philippines? What's your message?
I think the important message here that I wanted to share is just hang in there, because this year might not be about making profits. Honestly, it's about making it rebound. But whatever you do, I think it's important to have like a longer term perspective than just this year, right? This year, about making it through, but always think about what's going to happen in 3 years, in 5 years. I've seen brands where they laid off a lot of people, and then when the malls reopen, they're not able to come back to the level they once were. The service is not the same. So doing business is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. So you got to have the long-term outlook in your mindset always. And like what I said before, be creative, be innovative. You will find plenty of opportunities in this crisis. And for those of you, who are struggling, just hang in there. It'll get better. Tough times pass, and the tough people will be there forever. So hang in there, guys, and good luck.
All right, thank you so much. And they love you. A lot of chats are coming in, admiring that you're so young yet so full of inspiration given to us today.
Thank you very
so
much.
And I miss Thailand, especially the massage and the
Let
food.
me know when you're here. You're around.
All right. Okay, and let's hear it from PLDT. Let's hear it from our Vice President, Chito. What's your final shot, Chito, please?
Again, good afternoon to our viewers. And I just wanted to say that the only constant today is change. And we really need to adapt, innovate, and do that shift to be able to survive and even move on. And as what Pong mentioned, there's always going to be a new day. And let's all step into that new day. Maraming salamat po.
And PLDT will provide us good connections.
Definitely,
right?
we'll strive to that.
Okay, and by the way, there's a question earlier that I missed. Just to assure everybody, is PLDT ready for the surge of online users, considering that school will come in soon online? Are you ready?
Yes, we are getting ready, and the network is really being maximized at the moment and optimized to make sure that online classes will be ready.
Thank you very much, and thank you for those messages suggesting that the PFA should be getting an award for this ikapihan, because this is very helpful, very informational, and and thank you, very inspiring. All right, maybe hear it from who's getting called. If we're talking of age, will it be Toby, or will it be Patrick, or will it be Alex? I'll call Toby first. Toby, your final shot, please.
Yeah, mine is similar to Pong's. This is really and it's a crisis that's never been seen before. In our camp, likened it to war, because parang we've never been through a real war in our lifetime, but this is probably the closest. The effect that it in business and our lives, I think, is equivalent to a war. This war against the virus affected so many things, and I think the only way companies, businesses, organizations through it is by really thinking as such and get your managers, your staff, down to everybody in your organization to really appreciate that the only way we're going to get through this this war is to do it together. Come together, help each other, cooperate, and that's the only that it's the strength of your culture. You get through this crisis.
All right. Thank you very much, Toby. And I'm very proud to meet you now face to face because I have been together with your dad for like 3 days, 5 days and he's been talking about you and the accident that he named your store Toby's. And now you're living up to your name. You really have become a household name. And let's please listen to Patrick. Your final shot, please, Patrick.
So for me, it's about taking care of your people. That's what Toby had shared. In taking care of your clients. So now's a good time to show malasakit or concern for your people and your clients. And as to the business opportunities, if you think about what the problems and the challenges of our potential customers have, you will be able to find a way to offer your products.
All right.
The opportunity will be there. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Attorney Alex, please, your final shot.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. I think, Carl, that in this pandemic, the behavior and the priorities of people has changed. And I think we should not lose track of the fact that we should all bounce back, we should all recover. But really, how we recover and how we bounce back is just as important as recovering and bouncing back itself. So we cannot go back to our old ways. After we bounce back, we have to forge a new way forward that doesn't put stress on the planet, that considers communities more, that talks about people, not only the people that work for you, but the people that patronize your product and people that don't patronize your product. It has to be a stakeholder-centric business model that will be the sustainable business model. But how do you do this? You need to use your feelings. I think you need to feel the pain of people, and you need to feel their source of joy. And unless you're able to put emotion behind what you're trying to do, I don't think that you will be successful in identifying a new business model. So maybe the last thing really is reimagine the possible. And if this is ground zero now, because you've tasted losses, you've tasted cost, you've tasted pain, all good. You're tasting pain and losses anyway. Let's reimagine the possible and let's not stop dreaming.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really. Before I thank our special officers and staff and secretariat in the PFA, allow me to synthesize this by simply putting and going back to the definition of pivot, which says that it's a change in strategy without a change in vision. So I don't want to talk about strategy, you heard it, but let me talk about vision. Vision is the ideal state of the future. It's what you see 5 years from now, not tomorrow, not the next day. Vision is a little far-fetched, but it's the ideal state of the future. It gives you goosebumps. It creates the direction for you. It's somewhere you want to go. It is where you're going in the future. But more than the vision, there is another word, mission. The mission is the why you're going there. The where you're going there is the vision. The why you're going there is the mission. And that's what Attorney Cabrera mentioned as the purpose. The purpose which gives you the reason why you're going to your vision. And he used the word emotion. He used the word feel. Because if your vision statement does not resonate with what you feel and it does not give you goosebumps when you say it, then why is it anchored on your core values, which matters most to you? And I'd like to close this by saying that we have to believe in that special moment when the dream and the dreamer will become one once again. I'd like to thank our special board of the Philippine Franchise Association, of course, the father of Philippine franchising, Mr. Sammy Lim Mambing, Chair, President, and Rich. Thank you so much for the trust trust to me in moderating this. Chris Lim, my director, the executive director of the ECAPIHAN, the secretariat, Ma'am Cheat, and all the rest of the members of the very efficient PFA secretariat. This has been Dr. Carl Balita. Until next time, in the 8th ECAPIHAN of the Philippine Franchise Association. Friends, believe in that special moment when the dream and the dreamer will become one once again. There is God. Hold on to it. Hold on to your dreams. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone.